Both of these are Singer sewing machines. This is the 301 and this one is the Singer 15. They're both domestic lock stitch sewing machines designed for regular home sewing use. They both use a hook system. The needle goes down, the hook catches the thread and creates a loop that lifts up the bobbin thread and creates a stitch. Now that's a basic explanation of how a lock stitch works. But both of these machines use a different type of hook system to form that lock stitch. You've got the rotary hook system that just goes round and round, and you've got the oscillating hook system which goes one way and then back on itself. But which one should you go for? Which one's best? I'm Ollie, this is SimplyStitchy. Let's find out. Before we delve deeper into the differences between rotary hooks and oscillating hooks, the one thing that I need to clarify is the type of hook system that you've got on your sewing machine isn't determined by the location or the style of bobbin. There are also two different types of bobbin system. You've got the horizontal bobbin system and the vertical bobbin system. These two machines are both vertical bobbins and they both have different hook systems. Both of these are side loading sewing machines, which basically means this is the front of the machine. This is the bit that faces you when you sat at it to sew. It's known as the front, and this is the side. Same with this one. This is the front and that's the side. This is a top loading sewing machine, otherwise known as a drop-in bobbin system or horizontal. And if you watch that hook, you'll see that it's not a rotary, it is in fact going one way and then back on itself. It's oscillating. This one's a top loader or a drop-in bobbin too. And if you watch just there, you'll see that that one is going round and round, making this machine a rotary hook. So, as you can see, both horizontal and vertical bobbins can have either a rotary or an oscillating hook. Neither system is dependent or determined by the other. The truth is, it's actually not that easy to tell if you've got a rotary hook or an oscillating hook just by looking at the sewing machine. Can you remember which of these two was the rotary hook? The only real way of knowing the difference is by turning your hand wheel and watching the hook mechanism move. If it goes one way and then the other, it's an oscillating hook. If it goes all the way round, it's rotary. The only thing you can really tell by looking at a sewing machine is whether it's got a vertical bobbin or a horizontal bobbin. I go into more detail about the difference between vertical and horizontal bobbins in a different video. I'm hoping that video will go live at around about the same time as this one, because the topics in both are interlinked. Subscribe and click the notification bell just down there, and YouTube will give you a notification to let you know when that video is ready to view. I'll also come back and make sure the link to the other video is in the description box below. Okay, so the important point here is just because you've got a top loading sewing machine doesn't necessarily mean that you've got a rotary hook. And just because you've got a vertical sewing machine doesn't mean that that hook is going to be oscillating. To demonstrate that point even further, I'm going to cheat just a little bit. This is a Singer 128, and if we take a look at the bobbin system, it's accessed from the top of the machine, so it's a top loader. Just take the bobbin out for a minute. Look at that. This is neither a rotary hook nor an oscillating hook. This is in fact a vibrating shuttle, and rather than going round or backwards and forwards, it actually goes from side to side, and yet its bobbin is horizontal. Hold on to that thought, because it means you shouldn't be asking whether you should be going rotary hook or oscillating hook. But before we find out what the question you should be asking is, let's take a look at the different hooks in detail. And we're going to start with a rotary hook system. I'm just turning the hand wheel slowly, and you'll notice if you watch here that rotary hook is going round and round, and you'll notice that the middle bit where the bobbin goes stays perfectly still. This kind of hook system, the rotary system, is used a lot on industrial machines, because the one benefit of the rotary system is it goes a lot faster than an oscillating hook system will. And the reason for that is because that continual circular motion means constant movement. This particular hook system doesn't have to stop and start and change direction. And that also means that there's less vibration with a rotary hook mechanism. So it runs a lot smoother and it runs a lot quieter. This particular hook system does have a few disadvantages though. They are incredibly precision based. They need to be spot on with the timing, and the mechanism that actually gets the rotary hook system to work, it can be a little bit complex. There's a lot more parts that go into a rotary sewing machine. Another thing that some users have noticed with rotary hook systems is they can be a little bit finicky about the type of thread you use. They're incredibly fussy about thread thickness. They don't really like going from thinner to thicker threads. They're a bit like Goldilocks, everything has to be just so. If we take a look at the oscillating hook, this is the area where the bobbin sits, and this is the hook mechanism going around the outside. And you see that little slot there? That's where the pointy part, or the little finger on the bobbin case, sits. Okay, so if I turn the hand wheel, see how that goes one way and then goes back on itself. And you also notice with this one that that middle post where the bobbin sits doesn't move. One of the great things about this particular type of hook system is there's less machinery. So that means that an oscillating hook system is cheaper to build. It's also less precise. There's less precision needed to get this kind of hook system to work properly. Because it doesn't have the level of precision that the rotary hook system needs, the oscillating hook system is less finicky about the type of thread you use. This kind of machine will go from a lighter thread to a heavier thread without even batting an eye, which makes it a lot more adaptable. You're better able to sew a variety of thicknesses of fabrics that need a variety of thicknesses of threads with an oscillating hook system than you can with a rotary hook. It does have disadvantages, like everything else. The motion, the backwards and forwards, the start, the stop, the start, the stop, can cause these machines to vibrate, and it does tend to make them a little bit noisier than the rotary hook system machines. They also have slower speeds. They don't go quite as fast as the rotary system. That's one of the reasons why the rotary hook system is preferred in industrial machines, because of the higher speeds that industrial machines work at. I mean, your average domestic machine, you're looking at about 1600 stitches per minute, while your industrial machine is somewhere in the region of 5,000, 5,500 stitches per minute. Speed is important in the commercial world, whereas if you're at home sewing, you can afford to be a bit more of a plodder. So which one should you choose? Should you go rotary hook or oscillating hook? Well, as we've seen in this video, the chances are you're not going to know if it's a rotary or an oscillating hook until you come to use it. You'll be drawn to the sewing machine by the type of bobbin system it's got, whether that be a top loader or drop-in bobbin, horizontal, or a front, side or even rear loading bobbin system, the vertical bobbin. And at the end of the day, whether you want a front loader or a top loader is down to personal preference. And to be perfectly honest, if all you're doing is regular home sewing, then the type of hook that you've got in your sewing machine doesn't really make that much difference. Both the rotary and the oscillating hook make lock stitches, and they are both excellent quality. If it is, however, important to you to go for either the rotary or the oscillating hook, then my advice would be for you to buy from a sewing machine dealer. And that way you can ask them up front which models they supply that have either the one hook type or the other. Or make sure you check the sewing machine specifications, particularly if you're buying online. Check to see on there if it will tell you if it's a rotary or an oscillating hook. Just be careful wherever you buy your sewing machine. If the style of hook is important to you, make sure the seller knows the difference between a rotary hook and a horizontal bobbin system, or an oscillating hook and a vertical bobbin system. The only sure way of knowing the difference though is ask for a test drive and watch the machine in action. Take the bobbin out, turn that hand wheel and watch how the mechanism works. At the start of this video I said that the question isn't really about what kind of hook system your sewing machine's got. What question should you be asking when you're looking for your next sewing machine? Well, the answer to that one is pretty simple. Your question should be, what kind of sewing do you need your sewing machine to do? Because it isn't about the type of hook or even the type of bobbin system a particular sewing machine has got. It's about the capabilities of that sewing machine and whether it's a good match for you. I hope you liked today's video. If you did, why not give it a thumbs up? And why not check out some of the other videos I've got on my channel using the links coming up on the screen any minute now, or the ones I'll pop in the description box. And why not subscribe and click the little bell just down there so that YouTube can let you know when I upload another video, particularly the one about top loading and front loading bobbins. Whichever video you do go and check out next, I hope to see you back here for the next one. In the meantime, whatever you're sewing, whatever you're sewing it with, embrace your creativity and have fun. Thank you ever so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.